So we're starting a new story series. We're going to look at the story of Moses. And the very first story gives us kind of that culture of what is happening in the nation of Egypt. And it allows us to see what happens in that moment when one person or maybe two decide to honor God, when maybe the government tells them they should do something that doesn't honor God. So in the Bible, in Exodus 1, we are told this true story. So Jacob and his sons all traveled to Egypt. There were 70 in total of his sons and children and grandchildren that went to Egypt. And Joseph was already there. And they began to fill the land. But in the process of time, Joseph and Jacob both passed away. And only their children were left. And eventually a new king was born, and he came into power, and he didn't know anything about Joseph. And when he looked out and he saw how the Hebrew people were filling the land, he was concerned. And so he told his people, we have to do something about this. Because if we don't, if our enemies come and they seek to fight against us, they might join them and fight with them. And so he put slave masters over them. And these slave masters put them in hard labor and bondage, and they had no pity on them. And they required them to build 2 cities. And in these cities, that's where they would store their things. And they would have them make mud bricks and work the fields. And they just kept at them with no mercy. And at this time, there were 2 women who lived in the land, Shiphrah and Puah. And the king went to them because they were the women who delivered the babies of the Hebrew people. And he said to them, when the women are in the sitting position and ready to give birth, I want you to kill all of the little boys. You can let the girls live. Well, Shiphrah and Puah, they respected God, and they refused. They were not going to kill the baby boys. And because they respected God, God honored them and gave them families of their own. Well, the king came to them and said, why are you not doing what I told you to do? And Shiphrah and Puah said, the Hebrew women, they're not like the Egyptian women. They're strong, and they deliver before we ever even get there. And so the king went to the people, and he told them, I want you to throw all of the little boys into the Nile River. This is a true story in the Word of God. What do you learn about the people of God in this story? The nation of Israel, the Hebrew people. And what do you discover about Shiphrah and Puah? How does God reveal himself, and what do you learn about him? It's kind of fun to be in the Word so we can be with Jesus and be transformed. Shalom, y'all.